Assalamu alaikum students, welcome to today's lecture. I have shared a small file which was about the DC generators. I uploaded it on YouTube, and we said that we won't be wasting too much time on the generators because the discussion on the generators is very similar to the discussion on the motors. So I put a brief description of the generators, and the only differences in the generators is that you can look at that file in your own good time. We are just going to skim through it. That they are basically the same things as the DC motors. The architectural construction is the same. Only the differences in the DC motor, we are supplying terminal voltage, and uh, we are extracting mechanical work out of the machine. In the DC generator, we are basically uh, giving it mechanical input, and we are extracting electrical energy in the form of the output. And just as we did the speed regulation measuring for the motors, we can do voltage regulation measurement for the generators, and the equation is very familiar. We have done this equation in the transformers as well as the synchronous generators, and the same is true for DC generators. The first type is the separately excited DC generator, where the load current is equal to the armature current, as is obvious from this diagram. These markings have been done when I was making that 15-minute video for you, which was a replacement of the missed Wednesday lecture due to your lab exam. So you can see field has a separate circuit, armature has a separate circuit, and the armature current is same as the load current. You can attach a load between the output terminals, and the only difference is in this equation. And in this equation, if we were talking about the motors, we were supplying VT to the motor, and EA was the back EMF, which was the armature induced EMF, which was opposing it. So the equation had EA was in the motor equation. Uh, Basically, we were supplying it with energy, and VT was equal to EA plus the sum of IARA. Okay, so and the difference here is this negative sign. Instead of a plus sign, we have a negative sign over here. So this is the difference between the motor and the generator, and this will be followed throughout. Okay,
सर
so
सर आप स्क्रीन शेयर कर रहे हैं?
screen share nahi hai? Okay, I'll
नहीं
just
सर.
okay. Sorry about that. Okay, now I think you can see my screen. Sorry about that. I didn't realize that. So these markings have already been made from that YouTube video. So the only difference between a motor and a generator was in the motor, the equation looked like this. In the motor, the equation looked like this. We were supplying it with VT it as input. So VT was equal to back EMF or the armature induced EMF plus IARA. And now you can see this was for the motor. And in a generator, the only difference is that this plus sign has been replaced with a minus sign. Okay, and the direction of the current is now reversed because a motor extracts the current from the source, and over here the generator is supplying the current to the load. And the field circuit has a different circuit. We can find the IF using this, and armature current and load current are the same. Similarly, when we look at the case of the output characteristic of the motor is, as the IL is increased, yeah, that means the load current is increased. Field circuit is independent of the load circuit. So what happens to the VT at no load? No load means that generator is not supplying anything. So at no load, the terminal voltage is just equal to EA because the IA is equal to 0. And that means that the IA RA drops will also be equal to 0. So the equation condenses to this. So terminal voltage at zero load, IA is equal to IL. So the terminal voltage is just equal to EA at no load. And as the load is increased, there is a steady IARA drop. So just like the speed regulation in which the speed was dropping as the torque was load was increased, over here as the electrical load is increased, the terminal voltage is dropping in a linear manner. Okay, and when we look at this shunt DC generator, the shunt DC generator is the same as the shunt DC motor. The field circuit is in parallel to the armature, and the generator, when it is supplying current, it is supplying to both the field and the load. So the KCL equation gives this, that the armature current is the sum of the field current and the load current. And now the important question is the chicken and egg problem, that in the separately excited DC generator, the field circuit was different, but over here the field circuit is being supplied by the generator itself. So what happens when initially the generator is at 0 volts and the generator needs the field to produce EA, because we know this is the induced EMF and it will only be produced when the flux is cut, and when there is no flux, because there is no generator output over here, the flux is being produced by the generator output itself. So how will this thing work? So initially there's something called a residual magnetism in the generator. So initially the generator uses that residual magnetism to generate EA, and thereafter it then starts to supply to the field as well as the load. So this equation is same as previous. This equation comes from the KCL, and IF is simply equal to VT over RF, because the terminal voltage VT is same as over here, because there's no resistance in between. So the voltage here is VT as well as here it is VT. So these three equations are to use and analyze the shunt DC generator, and how we can change the terminal voltage of a DC generator. So there's some discussion over here. When you look at that file, it gives a detailed view. But briefly, how we can control the terminal voltage of these generators. We know that EA is the voltage being generated by the initially generated by the generator, and we know that the terminal voltage is actually the difference of this generated voltage minus the IARA drops. And in order to increase VT, we could play around with EA. We could increase EA, and how we can increase EVA? By changing the field and by changing the RPM. We could increase the field and we could increase the RPM to increase EA. How we can increase the field? We could increase IF. Okay, and how we can increase the RPM? We can use the prime mover to rotate it faster. So if one of these parameters increase, EA would increase and definitely VT would increase. And if you want to decrease VT, we could do the opposite, reduce the RPM of the generator or reduce the field. And we can change the field using some R adjustable. The second method is the field, and the first method is to play with the RPM. Okay. So we come to the last type, which is the series DC generator. And this is very much like the series DC motor. Okay, and the detail you can see in that lecture, because I just want to go to some practice numericals. Tomorrow I'm going to take a quiz from CLO4. This will be the last quiz from CLO4. No more assignments. I've taken 4 assignments and I'm going to take 4 quiz. So 3:30 tomorrow there will be a quiz from CLO4, and in the Wednesday lecture there will be a CLO improvement quiz. Okay, after Wednesday the course is complete. In the series DC generator, the field, this part is the field, is in series with the armature. Again, the armature is the one which is producing the primary EMF in a generator. And after reducing, after some reduction because of these drops in the armature resistance and field resistance, the net voltage reaching the load is called VT. So the VT is equal to EA minus IA. And instead of just RA, it is equal to RA plus RS, because the field is also contributing to the loss, because the field is not in a separate circuit as in a separately excited DC generator, nor it is in a parallel circuit where it is not affecting the load. It is in a different loop. So over here it is in series. Both these resistances are in series with the load, so they contribute to the drops. Okay, and both of these currents, the 3 currents, which is the armature current and the load current and the field current, they are same. And why they are same? Because they are all in series. So the armature current is same as the field current, which is shown as IS over here, and is equal to the load current. Okay, so we are equipped with these things. And you can look at these terminal characteristics in a DC series generator. If you increase IL, you are basically also increasing the field. That means you will contribute to the increase in EA. So it is true for up to some extent, it behaves linearly, but after a time, the magnetism becomes saturated as in the other machines. So now in order, you cannot increase the magnetic field more, even if you increase more and more of the load current and the field current. So it becomes saturated at some point. So EA will become saturated after some point, it will not increase. And EA minus these RA drops, IA RA drops will result in the terminal voltage of the generator. And this gap becomes more and more prominent as more and more field current is produced in the machine and EA starts to become constant. So let's look at numerical. So let's look at this first numerical, which is here. So this is very easy stuff if you can understand the motor. Okay, so over here, this is example 8.8. Rated, not this one, to this one. Okay, we are doing end of chapter problem number 8-22. Okay, not this one. 8-22. Okay, so we are doing this problem. This is about a DC, uh, separately excited DC generator. So things are more simpler because in a separately excited DC generator, field circuit is completely different from the load circuit or the armature circuit. So this is a separately excited DC generator, and the figure is shown in 8.7, and the figure is not for the separately excited generator, it is for the magnetization curve. So this is the magnetization curve, and as we are familiar with it, let me reduce its size. Okay, so always, as in the case of the synchronous machines also, on the y-axis we have armature induced EMF EA. Okay, and on the x-axis we always have the field. Sometimes the field is given in the form of IF, and sometimes it is given in the form of MMF. So in this case, it is also given in the form of IF and also given in the form of MMF. And MMF is nothing but n times the IF. Okay, so number of turns on the machine is constant. So it appears this machine has 1000 turns, because when IF is 5, the MMF is 5000. So this machine has n is equal to 1000. Should also be mentioned in the data. Yes, okay, it is written over here that the field has 1000 turns, so you can directly relate to IF and the MMF by just multiplying with a factor of 1000. Okay, so we have got some data about it. The generator is rated at 6 kilowatt, means for the generator, the load is electrical in nature. Okay, so you made these problems in assignment number 3. I have also uploaded the answer key of assignment number 3 for you on LMS. You can check that. And I had already discussed in the lecture that what problems were there while you were investigating it. So always remember, for a motor, the load is considered the mechanical load, and you have to consider that in all your power calculations, input output power calculations and losses. And in a generator, the output load is the electrical load. Okay, and the input power is the mechanical power. So the mechanical power is the output electrical load plus losses. In a motor, the output is a mechanical, for example, 30 horsepower motor, that means 30 horsepower is the mechanical output, and you will add the losses to it to get the electrical input. Okay, you can just not work with the power equations without using these power considerations, losses as well as the input and output powers. Okay, so the magnetic curve we have seen, it is rated at 6 kilowatt. So this is the electrical load. 120 volts is the rating. That means 120 volt must be given to the load, rated load. Okay, so this is not EA, this is equal to VT, and EA is equal to VT at no load. That is no doubt true. So, but otherwise, if the generator is loaded, then this thing is VT. You are giving this to the load and not EA to the load. 50 ampere is the rated load current, 1800 RPM, and it is shown in the figure 8.8. Okay, so the generator is shown in figure 8.8. This is the separately excited generator, and this pretty much looks labeled to me. RF is 20 ohms. 120 volt is the field voltage. This side is the armature. Okay, good enough. Now let's see what else he is asking me. Its field current is rated at 5 ampere. Okay, and the following data are known about the machine. RA is 0.18. It is labeled R adjustable, can be, okay, this R adjustable can be made to vary from 0 to 40 ohms. Following data is known about the machine. Blah, blah, blah. Let's move forward. What does this guy ask us? Answer the following question about this generator, assuming no armature reaction. So this is part of the course because we don't consider armature reaction in this syllabus. If this generator is operating at no load, so this point is very interesting for a DC generator. Here is my pen. Here is my pen. When the generator is operating at no load, so automatically this statement should pop in your head. EA is equal to VT because at no load IA is equal to 0, or IL is equal to 0, since the armature current and load current are same because the armature is in series with the load. Okay, so this condition is only true at no load. So you can say, okay, at no load, that means EA is equal to VT. What is the range of the voltage adjustment that can be achieved by changing R adjustable? So this is very good. The generator is no load for the whole part of this, and R adjustable can be varied from 0 to 40 volts. So that means if R adjustable is 0, there will be a particular value of IF. Okay, so when R adjustable is equal to 0, then what is the value of IF? IF will be equal to 120 divided by 20, is equal to 6 amperes. And when we take the R adjustable to the extreme, which is 40 ohms, then that means the new value of IF is going to be 120 divided by 40 plus 20 is 60. So that means it is equal to 2 ampere. So IF will be ranging from 2 ampere to 6 ampere. And at these conditions, VT and EA are same. So if this guy is asking us about the voltage adjustments that can be achieved, so he's talking about VT or EA, both will be the same because it is the no loaded condition. So I can go to the graph and read off from the graph the corresponding points at 6 ampere and the corresponding point at 2 ampere. So it can be adjusted from about 80 volts to 135 volts. Okay, 80 to 135 volts. So the answer to the first one is that we can adjust from 80 to 135 volts using the R adjustable. I think this is clear. If the field rheostat is allowed to vary from 0 to 30 ohms. So this is a different question. We are not varying it from 0 to 40. Now we are varying it from 0 to 30. Initially it was from 0 to 40. Okay, no problem. And the generator speed is allowed to vary from 1500 to 2000 rpm. What are the maximum and the minimum no load voltages? So again, it is talking about no load system. That means EA and VT are same again. EA and VT are same. Sorry. Okay, at no load. Okay, and now it is saying that we are varying the RPMs and we are varying the IF, and we have to note that this particular graph is for the rated conditions. So this graph is for 1800 RPM. Okay, so we must make sure that this graph is for 1800 RPM, and now we are not working at 1800 RPM, we are working at this range 1500 to 2000 RPM. What are the maximum and minimum no load voltages? So let's go to the whiteboard and try to investigate this problem. Okay, so now we are going from 1500 to 2000 RPM, I believe. 1500 to 2000 RPM. Okay. So I believe you can see my whiteboard. Okay. So, and the graph is for 1800 RPM. Okay. So we have to be very careful that we cannot read off the values from the graph corresponding to 1500 and corresponding to 2000. Okay. So we are varying the omega in this range. And what else the guy is asking us? Just let me open it in my own book. 822. Okay. So we are varying the RPM in this range and we are varying R adjustable in this range, 0 to 30 ohms. And we want to find the maximum and minimum VT. So we want to find VT max and VT min. Okay, so now geared up with this, how we can solve this? Okay. So we analyze this data. So IEF1 corresponding to the first case will be equal to 120 divided by 20, and IEF2 in the second case will be equal to 120 divided by 50. The first case gives me 6 ampere as the first part, and the second case gives me 2.4 amperes. Okay, so now I have an operating point that EA is equal to 135 volt at, okay, so now we are using this proportionality. E is equal to K phi omega m. Okay, so because now omega m is also being varied and this phi is also being varied, so what we can do is uh, we are in a slight problem that two variables are varying. So now what we are going to do is uh, EA is 135 and at 1800 RPM because the graph was for 1800 RPM. So what I can do is I can find VT max. Okay, how can I find VT max? VT max would be maximum when EA is maximum. Okay, and when EA is maximum, that means my omega should be run at the maximum value. Okay, this corresponds to 151 volts, and the second proportionality will be, and why I can take this, because I already know this value. Okay, because at 6 amperes this is the same as the first part. I already know that at 6 amperes IF my EA was, okay, because how I get this, because from the first part I already know that at 6 ampere IF and at 1800 RPM my EA is equal to 135 volt. So in this proportionality the field part is becoming constant, so it is just IA is proportional to omega. Okay, can you see this? Because in the first previous part also, when R adjustable was made equal to 0, that means it is going to correspond to the maximum EA, because if I reduce R adjustable to 0, that means my IF jumps up to the maximum value, and when my IF jumps to the maximum value, that means my EA maximum will be achieved, and at no load that EA maximum will also reduce to VT maximum. Okay, so for VT maximum I already know the operating point, that at 1800 RPM it is equal to 135 volts, and I want to find at 2000 RPM, which will give me the greatest value of VT max. And why I get rid of this K constant, so it will cut in the numerator denominator, and how I get rid of phi, because in the case of 135 volt also at 1800 volt, my field current was maximum 6 amperes when my R adjustable was 0. Okay, and I already had this value of 135 volts corresponding to 1800. So at 2000, it comes out to be 151. But now in part B, this is a bit tricky because I haven't investigated my part A for 2.4 amperes. Okay, so for 2.4 amperes, I will have to check from my graph. Let's go to my graph. Where is my graph? New share book. Because I was investigating part A for 40 ohms, not 30 ohms. Okay, so it was for 2 amperes, not 2.4. So at 2.4 amperes, which is somewhere here, I think this is 2.4 amperes. Okay, so at 2.4 amperes, I think this is equal to 95. Okay, this is corresponding to 2.4 amperes. So now my second operating point is 95 amperes at 2.5. Go back to the whiteboard. And for my second one, my EA value is for 1800, it is equal to this. Okay. And I want to find the value for VT minimum. So VT minimum will be when the RPM is least, that is 1500. Okay. So again, I use this proportionality because I have already made two things constant, that at this particular value of rheostat, my field is constant in the numerator and the denominator. When at 1800 the field is 2.4, the EA value was 95, and at 1500 when again the IF value was 2.4, that means phi 1 and phi 2 would cancel because both are investigated at 2.4 amperes. So I can find the value of my VT min, and my VT min comes out to be 79 volts. Okay, so my VT max is 151 volts and my VT min is 79 volts. Is there any question about this? Okay, students, is there any question? Have you understood this? So we use the proportionality. EA is equal to K phi omega m, and the phi part, we are varying the RPM also, and we are also varying the phi. But between these two operating points, I could make my phi constant. How I can make my phi constant? Because the graph is given to me at 1800 RPM. So I can investigate the numerator for the same phi value as the denominator. So I can get rid of both K and phi. And we are just going to be left with the proportionality of armature induced EMF with omega m. Okay. Because in the numerator also and in the denominator also, we investigate it for the same value of phi. So we read of the value of EA for 1800 RPM at the same value of phi as in the case of the denominator. Please answer me on the chat window. Is everyone clear about this question, especially the part B? Is everyone clear about this question? Okay, we are clear. So now let's move forward. Now we are going to do 823. Okay, so I'm just doing the good stuff for you. So you are well prepared for the quiz tomorrow from CLO4. Okay, so let's do 823. The remaining parts, I think you can easily do it. No, there are no remaining parts. 823. If the armature current in the generator is 50 amperes, so now we are considering a loaded case. If the armature current of the generator is 50 amperes, always remember that this graph is for 1800 RPM. Okay, this graph is not for arbitrary RPM, it is for 1800 RPM. Cannot read of values for it for 2000 or 1500 RPM. You have to make a proportionality using the relationship EA is proportional to K phi omega. 823 loaded condition 50 amperes, and the speed is again different to that of the graph. It is 1700, and the terminal voltage is 106. How much field current must be flowing in the generator? So this is again for the separately excited, and it is now asking you in an inverse direction. Field current is not given to you, you have to find it. Okay, so looks good to me. Let's go on the whiteboard, clear all the drawings. So this is 823, and now I want to find IF, and the guy has given me some data that loaded condition IA is 50 amperes and RPM is 1700. Okay, so we want to find IF, and it is a separately excited, and we know the relationship VT is equal to EA minus IA RA. So this is given to us as 50, and the resistance is equal to 0.18. E is not known, and VT The terminal voltage is 106. This is given to us. Okay, so we can find EA. EA will simply be equal to 106 plus 50 times 0.18. What is EA? Quickly tell me. Quickly answer on the chat window. What will be EA for this generator under this loaded condition? Quickly on the chat window. It is 115 again by Anam Shafiq. Thank you very much. That is correct. It is volts. Okay, 115 volts will be the value of EA. And now we want to again make the proportionality. EA is equal to K phi omega m. Okay, so if I can keep the phi thing constant and make a proportionality between EA and omega m, it will make things simpler for me. So now I know that at 1700 RPM, if the EA is 115, okay, let's find what is EA 115 at 1800 RPM. Okay, so we go to the graph at 1800 RPM. If EA is 115, how much is the IF? There it is. Okay, so if EA is 115 at 1800 RPM, how much is IF? IF is something like 3.5. Okay, so loaded with this, let's go back. So IF is equal to 3.5 for this case. Okay, so now I know EA is 115 when the RPM is sorry, when the RPM is 1700. Okay, this is the condition. EA is 115 when the RPM is 1800, and corresponding to that IF should be equal to 3.5 amperes. Okay, so at 3.5 amperes, 1800 RPM, EA is equal to 115. Okay, so now this is a tricky question. You have to pay some attention to it. Now the guy is asking you what is the IF. Okay, what was the statement? What is the IF when the terminal voltage is 106 and the generator is at 1700 RPM? So when the generator is 1700 and 106, EA is 115, but this EA is 115 at 1700 RPM. So this is not at 1800 RPM, this is at 1700 RPM. So now we want to check what would be the EA at 1800 RPM. So this is not right. Okay. Now we want to check because this is not for 1800 RPM, so we cannot read it from the graph. So you realize my mistake? I cannot read it from the graph because the graph is for 1800 RPM. So I cannot read off IF because most of you would have done the same thing. So you cannot read off from the graph because the graph is for 1800 RPM. So now what you want to do to be able to read it from the 1800 RPM graph, what you are going to do is you are going to find EA at you are going to find EA at corresponding EA at 1800 RPM. Okay. So this 115 was at 1700 RPM and the corresponding EA at 1800 RPM would be equal to how much is this? Quickly tell me. Okay, quickly tell me on the chat window because this 115 EA was at 1700 RPM. What would it be at 1800 RPM? Again, we make use of the fact that between these two operating points, K is not changing, phi is not changing. The only thing that is changing is the RPM. So between the first operating point and the second, we are assuming that we are not changing the field. Okay, so this EA2, can anybody tell me the value of EA2? It is 121.76. That is correct. 121.76. Now we are going to go on the graph and read the corresponding field current value. Previously, we were doing it wrong because this value was not for 1800, and the graph we can only read of for 1800 RPM, not for 1700 RPM. So we draw the corresponding EA point on the 1800, which is 121.76. Now we can go to the graph, and 121.76 is somewhere here, and that corresponds to a field current of something like 4.1 or 4.2 ampere. Okay, so the answer to this part will be IF is about 4.1 amperes. Okay, so this is problem number